Guten Morgen, muchachos. How you doing? Welcome back to Football Digest Daily. My name is Nyaassh, and of course, if you're watching this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe button to the channel so that we can continue growing and continue producing content. Now we are back, of course, to the Premier League. Of course, we had the first games happening over the weekend as we get back to the run-in. We'll be going all the way to the end of the season, and boy, what a way to get back. First of all, on Saturday, goals galore. Like, goddamn, kutoka early kickoff all the way to the last game, which was being played at 11 p.m. Kenyan time, which was a bit crazy. But yeah, it was also a crazy match. And then on Sunday, we had, of course, the Super Sunday, where the top teams were going, of course, were in action. So, first of all, before I even go on, I want to thank everybody who turned up to the watch party that we had at Kentwood Address. Fantastic. Fantastic turnout. So down, everything was cool, apart from no goals in the match. That was between Arsenal and Manchester City, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't go to Etihad this time around being scared. Like, I've gone to Etihad being scared so many times. This was this one time in a long time. I've gone to Etihad and I'm like, all right, let's see what Man City can do. Like, really, let's see what Man City can do. And of course, you're going there being second in the table because Liverpool had played early on Sunday after beating Brighton. Close match. And it started so well, by the way, because Brighton scored in the first 90 seconds. Welbeck with a heck of a thunderbolt. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is the challenge you want to see Liverpool facing. But they did turn around, and of course, they won that game 2-1. Mo Salah, but the assist from McAllister, oh my days. That was just gold. A heck of an assist by McAllister, of course, to make it 2-1 for Liverpool. That was after Luis Diaz equalized for them in the first half. So, Liverpool won that game, and that took them to the top of the table. All right, so Arsenal going to Manchester City, we had to win to go top. Even if Manchester City would have won, they would not have gone top. So the onus was on us to win, you know. But yeah, going to Etihad is always a tricky place, man. But we had our chances. People are saying we parked the bus, which you could argue, yes, we did park the bus. We were very solid defensively. I think the one thing that comes up from that game for Arsenal, besides, of course, the point, because we've been losing there since 2015, is the fact that we are so solid defensively. Like, we are really, really good. Really, really good defensively. We are good. How good are we? We are so good that Manchester City did not score a single goal for the first time in 57 games. No, for the first time in 58 games. They had been scoring there for 57 games in a row. Always scoring. For the first time in 58 games, in the 58th game, they did not score. It's so bad for them. We were so solid defensively. They only had one shot on target. It came from a goddamn corner. You recall the Nathan Ake header that went to David Raya? That was the only shot on target Manchester City had. They had, I think, 78% possession. For contrast, Arsenal had 2 shots on goal. We had, I think, 22% possession. Like, where is the effectiveness? Manchester City is not an effective team when they play against Arsenal. They had 78% possession, only 1 shot on target, 0 goals. Arsenal had 2 shots on target, and he had, I think, 28% possession, 22. Crazy. For contrast, when they came to the Arsenal, when they came to the Emirates, they had 49% possession. If I'm not wrong, or did you have 51? They had, I think, 49% possession. They had 1 shot on target. So, we are used to Manchester City. We know how you do your thing. We have your number on goddamn speed dial. All right? Absolutely stifled them. Haaland was a no-show. Absolutely fitted so perfectly into Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba's pockets. They had that nigga. Oh, God. They had that guy in their pockets. England, they were super physical on him. They were super physical with him. Especially Gabriel Magalhaes. Such a joy to watch, man. Such a joy. So, Manchester City did not win that game, of course. Now that makes them third. Arsenal did not win that game either. So that leaves us 2 points below Liverpool. With how many games to go now? Is it 9? Yeah, with 9 games to go, we are now 2 points below Liverpool, man. So this running is going to be crazy. But I honestly felt like we could have won that game at Etihad. We could have won that game because there are some 2 chances that we had. The one that fell to Trossard, he just felt he could have put in a low cross for Martinelli, and he did not. He tried to go for glory. I think he could have done better with that one. Even if it's not doing it for Martinelli, once he got closer to the box, I thought he could have cut it back for or another low cross for Kai Havertz was free. I'm like, Trossard, come on, man. Trossard. Yo, there was another chance where we sneaked and won the ball against Manchester City. Odegaard had the ball, but he did not make the right pass, in my opinion. He delayed a bit too much. And of course, Man City by then, they recovered. So we had our chances. We had our chances. Also, Gabriel Jesus carved a few chances, if you ask me. But then again, there's a dude who has not been playing regularly for a while. So it's still kind of rusty. But yeah, I think could have done better, to be honest. If you ask me, I think could have done better. But yeah, so yes, Manchester City over 2 games against Arsenal. They have had 2 shots on target, 0 goals. Mikel Arteta, I think, is the first manager to keep a Premier League clean sheet back-to-back in 2 Premier League games in a season against Pep Guardiola. No one has ever done that in the Premier League, not even Klopp. So yeah, we're moving all right. We're moving all right. Everybody who watched that game knows Arsenal is a different breed altogether right now. Like, there's no doubt. If you're having any doubt because people are thinking, oh, you go get smashed by who? Manchester City. No, we have those niggas' numbers on speed dial. So, yeah, it went well. If you ask me, it went well. And so did the watch party. So, that's about that on Sunday. Of course, on Saturday, we had a lot of games. We had, I think, 8 games. The early kickoff. The early kickoff was West Ham going to, I think, Newcastle. And there was some point in time looking like they will win that game. Because at some point in time, West Ham were 3-1 up. From 1-0 down to 3-1 up. And I'm like, God damn, Newcastle. And then they turned it around. They went to 3-3. They brought on Harvey Barnes, who scored the equalizer for them. And then he scored a heck of a goal to make it 4-3 for Newcastle. The whole St. James's Park just went ballistic. I personally could not even believe it. Like, West Ham were 3-1 up at some point, you know. Until I think the 75th minute. That's when Isak scored the first penalty. No, the second penalty for him. Before, of course, Harvey Barnes came and scored the equalizer. So that was a brilliant goal. That was a brilliant game. It was a thriller, to say the least. And of course, I understand that game is always producing goals. Like West Ham Newcastle, every time they play, goals galore. Goals galore. Then, of course, in between that, 6 p.m., we had a lot of games. Spurs versus Luton Town. Spurs won that game 2-1, having to come from behind, by the way, because Luton scored fast. We also had likes of Bournemouth up against Everton. Everton have now gone 12 games without winning. I think 12 games getting beat, if you ask me. Crazy. Absolutely insane. What else did we have? We had Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. That game ended in a draw. Burnley versus Chelsea, or Chelsea versus Burnley. You know, every time I come here and talk about Chelsea, it's just comic. It's comical. Chelsea were playing against 10-man Burnley. They were 1-0 up at some point in time, and then I think Burnley got red carded. Stupid ass red card, by the way. They were not actually leading because that's the red card that the Burnley player was shown is one that led to the penalty that, of course, Cole Palmer scored. So that was a very harsh penalty. That was a penalty maybe, but the red card, that was as harsh a red card as they can get. Company was having none of it. He complained too much. He also got red carded. So it's basically 10-man Burnley without a coach. All right. So you're thinking, all right, Burnley themselves, they are weak, right? But when you make them 10 men, then you just absolutely make them as weak as possible, right? So yeah, they are for the taking. They're there for the taking now, right? Nah, not unless it's Chelsea. So Chelsea scored the first goal, of course. Cole Palmer scored the penalty, and then Burnley equalized, and then Chelsea scored again, and then Burnley equalized, I think, the 80-something minute. And I'm like, 10-man Burnley come out of Stamford Bridge with a point. Chelsea cannot beat 10-man Burnley. Insane. You cannot explain anything there. There is nothing to explain. How do you not beat 10-man Burnley? How? So yeah, typical Chelsea, man. They drew that game. Of course, the other game happening at 8:30 was Aston Villa up against Wolves. A proper game. This one was, by the way. I watched it. Wolves are really good, by the way. They are good. They are quite good. But then, of course, Aston Villa, I think they were the one who converted their chances because Wolves had a couple of chances as well, but did not convert them. So Aston Villa converted theirs, and that's how they won the game 2-0. After that, we had, of course, the last game, which is the late night kickoff. That was Brentford welcoming Manchester United. Let me tell you, my man, I watched this game. I was live on TikTok. United, oh my God, I'm a Jamaa Kochini. Why? United, they're just us. They're just us. Like, they absolutely got dominated by Brentford, outplayed, outthought, outfought. It's even weird that it's Brentford who are having to equalize. The least that Brentford deserved in that game is taking an L. They should not have taken the L. They were the better team by far. They had 85 touches in Manchester United's box. For context, no team has had more touches. No, I don't think there's even a team that has had 80 touches in a single match in the opposition's box. Brentford did it. Brentford are, I think, 15th in the league. United are 6th or 7th. It's just crazy when you think about it. They absolutely outplayed Manchester United. Manchester United are just following proceedings. You know, I was actually watching that and I'm like, the only difference between me who's watching and Manchester United guys who are on the pitch is that they are doing a lot of running around. Nothing more. There is nothing more they did apart from that. Well, of course, Mason Mount came on from the bench and he scored the goal. And you're thinking, God damn, this is a proper smash and grab. Like, Brentford have just been smashed and Manchester United have gone in and grabbed all the 3 points. But yeah, Brentford are having none of that. I equalized for Brentford to make it 1-1. And boy, I was going ballistic. That's the least Brentford deserved in that game because they were really good. They had 31 shots against Manchester United. It was a shooting range. They were like in a shooting range, I swear down. It's insane. It's insane when you think about it. So, yeah, man. So, Manchester United, of course, drawing against Brentford, that was the highlight for me for the weekend, ain't gonna lie. Because they were really poor. They were really, oh my God, they were poor. You think Chelsea were poor? You should have watched Manchester United. They were poorer. Of course, for me, also going to it and not losing. Like I said, we are used to getting slapped there so many times. Yeah, us not getting beat was actually good. I'll take the point, to be honest. I'll take the point and we march on. Because now 9 games to go. Anything can happen here, I'm not going to lie. Anything can happen here. And of course, everybody who has doubts about Arsenal now has no doubts at all. If you are doubting Arsenal, you're totally in denial. Very much in denial. So that's about that as far as the Premier League is concerned. In the Kenya Premier League, we had no matches being played. We had, of course, the Mozart Cup or Shield being played. And of course, sisi kama Tusker mazee, yo, we got beat by Kakamega Homeboys. I don't know what the Homeboys has on us. Or ikifika ni cup games. Because these are the same guys who made sure we had no trophy last season. They beat us in the Mozart Cup, Mozart Shield Cup in the final last season. And now they're beating us again in this, we could call it round of 16. Because after this, we're going to the quarters. I'm like, God damn. But anyway, FC Leopards are through. They beat Shabana. Who else? KCB are through. Who did they beat? Is it Bidco United? So Fubaka are also through. They beat Bungoma All Stars, if I'm not wrong on the name. Yeah, so those are some of the teams the Kenya Premier League should be expected to see in the quarterfinals. All right. So the Premier League, of course, resumes this week. We have midweek fixtures today, tomorrow, and then on Thursday. Arsenal playing on Wednesday against Luton Town. Manchester City are also playing, I think, on Wednesday against Aston Villa. That's a tricky game. Liverpool are playing against Sheffield United, I think, also on Wednesday. Then Manchester United versus Chelsea, a battle of clowns, if you ask me. We're going to see who's the biggest clown on Thursday when Manchester United tackle Chelsea. I think that's at Stamford Bridge, if I'm not wrong. And then, of course, we go back to the weekend again. And the biggest of them all is Man United versus Liverpool, of which will be hosting a watch party at Kentwood Address. So be on the lookout for that and come and join us. We're always having a blast over there. That's just about that. Let's wait and see, of course, after next weekend. Then we get into the Champions League. Oh boy, I've never been more ready for this. I have never been more ready for this. What was the highlight of the weekend? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to our channel. We keep growing and we keep growing and we keep doing better and better. Have a good week. God bless. Catch you in the next one.